top, okay? If we assume that Obama is responsible for everything that's going on, there's a lot of illegal stuff going on. And by that I mean that the primary duty of the president under the Constitution is to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. And we have a system now in Congress that no longer is very functional for passing laws, and it passes these 1,000-page laws, and then certain pieces of them are sort of stupid, okay? And Obamacare is a prime example. And there are 3 or 4 different pieces of Obamacare which are right there in the law. You know, this must happen. You can't get a subsidy unless you buy something through this exchange. And even though the law is crystal clear, you know, the answer is, well, we don't care what the law is anymore. And there's a culture of lawlessness in this administration that is really unparalleled. And it's not just, you know, Obamacare, it's things like the IRS scandal. You know, here we are with them turning the IRS into an attack machine against their political opponents. And by that I mean, you know, there was some poor woman in Texas who tried to start an organization to fight vote fraud, and, you know, instantly the IRS is sicked on her, OSHA is sicked on her, you know, different federal, her life is just made a living hell. And then Congress comes in, and Congress is going to, you know, oh, we'll investigate what's going. And the IRS says, we don't have to give you any information. You know, they sit on it and then all of a sudden, oh, well, all the hard drives failed. Sorry, we don't have any emails anymore. We can't tell you what happened. You know, in the old days, before Congress turned into some little lap puppets, okay, and had real people in it who had like courage, if an administration official were to show up on Capitol Hill and say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to answer your question, or I'm not going to tell you, or you can't have that, they would put the guy in the basement. And they had a jail in the basement and say, you're in contempt of Congress, and the sergeant-at-arms is going to take you downstairs, and when you give us what we ask for, we will let you out of the jail, okay? And now, what do? Oh, let's refer a citation for contempt to the Attorney General. And then we have more Obama lawlessness, because the statute says that when Congress refers a citation for contempt to the Attorney General has a duty to prosecute. And so I think it was like 6 months ago that they said, okay, this IRS person is in contempt of Congress because she's not giving us any information about all the wicked things she's been doing, and the Attorney General just sits on it illegally. You know, so is that Obama's fault personally? I don't know. But he has engendered a culture of corruption and lawlessness that is really unparalleled in modern history. So in the case of the IRS thing, we know that the IRS commissioner visited the White House like something like 150 times, okay?
That's right.
And, you know, ordinarily the IRS commissioner should just be this person with the green eye shades, you know, collecting the money and handing. You know, they don't belong at the White House 150 times. Something was going on.
That's right.
And they are doing their damnedest to conceal what it was, and they're getting away with it because we have a bunch of lapdogs in Congress. And then, you know, who do we have from Portland? We have Earl Blumenauer, my opponent, okay? And so they hold a hearing, and they bring in this guy who's the commissioner of the IRS who lied to them 2 months ago, and the Republicans say, you lied to us, and Earl Blumenauer's, oh, I'm so sorry you have to go through this, Mr. Commissioner. You know, I want to thank you for all your wonderful public service and how awful. I mean, you look at the two of them, it's like they should go get a room somewhere, you know, because we no longer have, we have sort of gangster government where instead of standing up for law and process and the separation of powers and the things that should be done, it's just, well, he's from my party, so he could be, you know, like murdering babies, and that's okay with me. And that's just a sickening performance by a public official.
They do. You know, it's certain irony that is now the dicta of the Republican Party to assault the IRS at every turn and undercut its ability to function